Hey credit heroes, it's me, Daniel Rosen, and I just got back from my very first credit con, and wow, what an incredible experience. Troy and Keenan and I, we had a blast. I got to speak on stage. We got to meet so many amazing credit heroes in person who are really shaping the future of credit repair. And the absolute highlight for me was when Dustin Ball took the stage and delivered an absolute masterclass on how to make more sales without more work. We were so fired up by what Dustin shared, we knew we had to bring it back to reshare it with you. So whether you were at CreditCon or not, this is your chance to hear one of the smartest sales strategies in the game from an absolute powerhouse in the credit repair industry who has been in your shoes, so you better stick around.
My name is Daniel Rosen, and welcome to Credit Repair Business Secrets.
Focusing on sales, prioritizing sales in your business is probably the fastest way to make less money than you could make. Believe it or not, right? So we're going to talk about how to double your revenue without marketing your ass off. That's my first year, $106,000. Second year, $414,000. 2 years and some change, I hit my first million. Okay, so I know a little bit about sales. These are the metrics that we measure that we believe have the most value in our business when we're focusing on just sales. Sales, new sign up, closing rates. Obviously, we're about paying attention to closing rates. I wanted to automate everything. I was treating my business like I was selling a product rather than a subscription-based service, but that's what we are. We're a subscription-based service. While sales, new sales coming in is definitely something that you want to prioritize. If those people don't stay and you spend all your time marketing because you're having to always bring new people in the pipeline, then you're making less money than you could because we are a subscription-based service. So by and large, the easiest way to make more money is to figure out how to get your clients to stay longer. Okay, how to get your clients to stay longer, right? The longer they stay with you, the more money you can make, right? And there's plenty of other benefits as well. Here's the myth. This is what a lot of 101 level entrepreneurs believe. As long as sales keep coming in hot and heavy, I will be able to outgrow any churn or client loss. Okay, but what happens? What happens in reality? What happens to most businesses around Thanksgiving? Right. So you are at the mercy of things that you cannot control. High sales will mask the inefficiencies in your business and rob you of valuable insight needed to become anything more than a money-hungry sales machine. How many of you talk to clients that they'll tell you like, oh, I always had money coming in, so I didn't necessarily have to think about my credit. They never had to think about credit because there wasn't anything that affected them. They always had cash that they could lay out. I did this for a long time. I was bartending, right? I didn't learn how to do this just because. So cash is always coming in. I didn't have to worry about credit or anything like that because if I needed more money, I just go pick up an extra shift, right? That is not personal finance wisdom. Okay, that's not how you do that. Businesses run the same way. As long as I keep getting these sales, then I don't have to pay attention to churn. I don't have to pay attention to retention. I don't necessarily, until it becomes an issue and I start getting bad reviews, I don't really have to pay attention to customer service, right? Sales coming in, if that's the metric, you are lying to yourself as a business owner. Okay, so let's become a pro, right? Let's talk about how you become a pro as a business owner, right? In a subscription-based model, retention is a far better indicator of the overall health success of your business than new sales. When I talk about retention, I'm talking about how long are your clients staying with you. Your marketing and your sales, that's one part of your business. Just one part of your business, right? And you can judge that on its own merits, and you want to. But retention will tell you how the other 90% of your business is doing. And what I figured out as a business owner, because I do this in my own life, if I don't have solid information, I will always overestimate myself. I'll always think I'm doing better than I am. What happens when you start increasing your retention? Okay. Clients get better results from their program. If clients are staying in your program for 3 months, how do you think their results are versus a client that stays in your program for 12 months? Honestly, like you get more shots you get more swings at the bat. You get more chances to help them with utilization and adding you credit, right? So they're going to get better results from their program. Client satisfaction improves. Walking planks. I don't really get into anybody's business, but if you've been sued, right, and there's some folks that have, if clients are with you for a year, they're not suing for you. They say it for a reason, right? It's the people that focus on the marketing and getting the sales in, and hey, I get addicted to this, the 100, and I've done this when I first started doing social media marketing. I got kind of addicted to the 100 signups a month. Ooh, I love that number. Woo-hoo. When on my own, you know what I'm saying? I had one staff. All he was doing was printing your mailing. Woo-hoo. I was killing it. Right? But what I noticed is like that first year when I made that first $106,000, my clients stayed the whole time. I didn't lose like a single one. Once I started focusing on sales and putting out content and all of that, I started focusing on the signups, the views, the likes, the clicks. My satisfaction went down and my retention just started going real short. And that's when I was like, this isn't working. I was having to put out videos every day. Someone asked me yesterday, how many times do you have to post a day? I said, not me. I ain't trying to do all that. Not me. Right? And I'm not knocking anyone's business model. You do whatever you do. Okay? But I'm gonna actually show you the math on this in a little bit, and you can tell me what would rather focus on, okay? Your company reputation improves and word of mouth referrals increase. Who loves when a client contacts you and says like, hey, you know what? I was referred by this person. I'm like, sold, done. Because not only is that like an easy client, all right, but that's a client that also believes in everything that you're doing because you did it for someone else and they told them about you. That's the best in the world. Right? The having your clients are with you, the longer they stay, that's going to increase. Revenue is going to increase even with consistent or stagnant sales. Right? If you've been in the business for any amount of time, you start looking at the numbers you did this year versus last year. Right? You start looking at those types of things. And if you're only focused on sales, that's the number that you look at. Right? That's the number that you look at. But what if your revenue could increase when your sales stay the same, your new sign-ups stay the same? Right? That to me sounds like a great business. Right? Revenue becomes predictable rather than fluctuating with marketing efforts. But what I told you guys is that if you're following me, what you'll see is like I'll go a few months where I'm posting all the time, 2 or 3 times a week. My content probably shouldn't do good. It's way too long. I'm way too wordy, as you can tell. But it does well. But then you won't hear from you for like 5 months. And it's because I've hit my 700 clients. And they're not going nowhere. And it's only one of me, right? And I like to spend a lot of time with my clients, right? So because of that, because I my dogs start looking at me real funny and peeing on the house if I don't walk them every day. I cap it. So when you see me go quiet, that it's because I'm where I want to be. I'm where I want to be. There's only so much time in the day, right? So when I go quiet, that's why. But my revenue becomes predictable. I know how much money I'm going to make. I don't worry about the Thanksgiving sell-off. So your revenue becomes predictable with your marketing, even when your marketing efforts fluctuate. Here's the average CRO retention, and this is dozens of credit repair companies that I'll be able to help with their backings and stuff like that. So I've calculated this. 117 days average client program. All the way to the right, lifetime value, $500. You're doing all that for $500. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm at a point in my business where I really don't even want to get out of bed for $500. And if you think that like, yeah, there's worse problems to have than that too. Okay, I get it. But you're doing all that, it's $500. 22% of clients make it to month 6. And understand what we're talking about when we say 117 days. That's a sign-up fee. And what is that? A sign-up fee. And I calculate on everything on my pricing, which is $125 get set up, $125 a month. So those numbers vary. Obviously that lifetime value of $500. But you're not even talking about 4 monthly payments. That's a setup fee and 3 monthly payments. That's what most CROs are getting out of their clients. Only 22% lasts to the 6-month mark. How long are you telling people, honestly, that it's going to take to really kind of get where they want to go with their credit? Why? 3%, 9 months. Why? If you're telling them up front, why? I can tell you what. You're trying to automate everything. Yes, let's talk about it. And here's the math. Here's the math I want you guys to see. These are the numbers. This time next year, if you aren't doing this, 20 new clients a month, that's what these numbers are based on. Just 20 new clients a month. You do what I tell you to do. I can't guarantee anything, right? I should have a legal disclaimer up here, but 20 new clients a month should be cake. I don't care if you're putting out crap content. I don't care if you don't have no followers, anything. If you can do what I just showed you, you can get 20 clients a month. So here's the math just on 20 clients a month, 20 new clients. And so I also have to kind of give a shout out to Daniel from CRC with back in the day. I don't know if right. Back in the day, and I haven't been on the website in a while, Daniel, so I don't quite know, but I remember the retention calculator that CRC had. Right? So when I got to the point where I could get 100 new clients a month, I saw everything going down. I'm like, why isn't it doing this? Right? But Daniel had an old retention calculator on there, and he said like, hey, if you can get these many clients, then this is kind of what the revenue is going to do. And my revenue didn't do that. I'm like, well, clearly I got to check something out. I got to look at something. But that's what made me think about that number. Daniel was like, hey, how long do these clients stay at? So on the math, if you just need 20 clients a month, first 6 months, you'll make $45,000. $45,000, 6-month rev, but 20 clients a month. And this is and this is if they are staying 4 months, a 4-month program. Okay? Little bitty numbers. You're not keeping them very low, not really helping them out a whole lot. $45,000. In your first year, you'll make $105,000. Okay? I made $106 in my first year, and I wasn't doing 20 clients a month. I did 28 my first month. Thank you, Jesus, because if not, I'd have had a job. But I wasn't doing 20 clients a month, and I hit 106. Why? All those clients stayed with me. I might have been only doing 5, 7, 8, 10 clients a month new, but they were all staying. So I did 106. And here's where, because of the way that like the math breaks down, what you really need to look at is month 24. To really kind of see the impact of these things. Month 24, in 2 years, you'd make $225,000. Now, for most people, like, who's got that as a goal? Who's looking out to that? Like, man, I can't wait till I get to that point. All right. There's a lot of folks, they're still waiting. I can't wait till I get to that point. If you change that, if you switch everything and you keep your clients for 9 months, here's the math. That first 6 months didn't change a whole lot. Changed about $7,500, $52,000. 12 months, you made an extra $80,000 by month 12. Right? $80,000, that's a full-time job for the vast majority of Americans. Okay? And in month 24, you've made $487,000. That's the difference. You haven't done anything, you haven't changed anything about your sales. That's consistent 20 clients a month. So you are more than doubling your revenue. And you're not doing any more in sales and market. Same. That's the math. So you can focus on sales if you want to. Great. However, if you focus on keeping your clients around, you can more than double your revenue, right? And all those other benefits like not getting sued and things like that. Now, here's where some of us like to be at. I love that 100 clients a month, right? There's other content creators in here I know that can hit 100 clients a month like it's clockwork, no problem, right? I can consistently do this if I'm in that push. 100 clients a month, no problem on bad content. Okay. If you can do that 6 months, you're at 225, right? So you're basically what you were at 24 months at 20 clients a month, 12-month revenue, $525,000, 24-month revenue, $1.125 million in 2 years. Right. Now who's got that as a goal? Who thinks that would be great? Absolutely. Let's change that to where you're still getting those same 100 clients. But now you focus on retention and customer service. That first 6 months is $262,000. You're almost at $1 million at month 12, and you are at $2.4 million at month 24. Now, for some of us, the difference between 1.1 million and 2.4 million, it's like a gazillion and a bazillion. Right? Like we can't really even think about that. But let me tell you, like once you hit those numbers, like the difference between 2.4 and 1.1, huge, right? Sean bought our house off that difference right there. Sean bought our house off the difference between 1.1 and 2.4. Have you seen our house? Goals. Good. That's my convention crush right there. So why do clients leave? Why do clients leave? I'm going to tell you, this is what we assume. And I say assume because 90% of the CROs that I talk to have no idea. They just know their clients leave. Invoices fail, whatever. We assume it's the cost. I would tell you that if cost is an issue, then you're not providing the value. They'll pay for what they're getting. Okay. And that's not everybody. Some people will sign up for programs that they can't afford because they like, hey, I've skipped a shot for a couple months. That's not on you. Right. However, if you don't know why your clients aren't staying around for a while, if it's almost like if someone always gets 10% tips, it's not the cheap customers. Right. It's you, honey. It's you. So if your clients are only staying for a few months and you assume it's the high cost, you're wrong. You think it's the poor results. Nope. Lack of communication and poor service. That's what you think. Here's what the actual survey says. 68% of customers leave a business not because of cost or even results, but because of perceived indifference. Once they feel like you have become the gym, because the gym doesn't care if you get results. Hell, the gym doesn't care if you show up. As long as they get your, Gold's Gym, $39.99, Lifetime, $199, as long as they're getting your monthly fee, they don't care if you show up. They don't care if you lose weights. They don't care if you're hitting your goals. They don't care if you hit your macros. They don't care if you show up to the gym, as long as they're making that money. Once clients feel like your service-based business has become the gym, it's called perceived indifference. You don't care. So what does this actually look like to a customer? What makes a customer feel perceived indifference? And now let me tell you this, I'm going to say some things. If you are the kind of person that wants to automate everything, not talk to anybody, I love you. There's a lot of businesses that you could do that. This is not the one. Okay? Respectful. If this is not the business where you never have to touch those clients. Okay? So what does it look like? What does perceived indifference look like to a customer? Over-reliance on automated communication. Whose clients still have their cell phone number? Right? You just getting started. Right. What I was saying is the first big investment that you ought to make in your company is some good automations. Because that will allow you to double, triple, quadruple your energy, the things you're able to do. So you absolutely need to work on your automations. However, and this is a mistake that I made, okay? You can't automate everything. You need to understand the difference between what is appropriately automated and what needs to be a personal touch. And that's what a lot of folks cannot figure out. How many of you know when you're getting marketing text messages or AI voice calls, whatever, how many of you know right away this is automated? This is not a real text message. It's not a real message. Raise your hand. It's 2025. We all know what that looks like. If that's all your clients are getting, I would bet retention a little bit more on that 3-month end than the 9-month end, right? Generic reporting without explanation of personalized insights. Who just sends out their software progress report? Who sends out the software progress report that they're using? You're wrong. You fail to celebrate your client wins. Right? And you aren't actually connecting your service to the client's goals. Okay? CROs have a big problem with this because the way that they market is my service is to delete negative items from your credit report. Like hell it is. You can't delete negative items from someone's credit report. Right? And if that's how you market, that's what they're expecting. Okay? However, you can't do that. There's only 3 ways that you can get something deleted from someone's credit report. It's a factual violation, if there's a Metro 2 compliance violation, or there's a procedural violation. And there's a million things within that, right, that could apply. But if one of those things don't apply, just because it's a negative doesn't mean it's coming off. Right? So okay, go ahead. You should all be clapping for that. Which will allow me to take a drink. But if If your clients believe that your job is to remove negative items from their credit report, you are wrong. You are wrong. Okay, that's not your job. You can't do that. Your job can't be something that by definition you can't do. Right? So if that's what all your marketing is, and we could get into to FTC things about the implied promises and things like that, we won't do that. But your clients need to make sure that your clients understand that that's not your job. Not only is it not your job, that's something you can't do. You can't remove negative items. If you're only doing disputes, if you're not doing anything else, then the best you can do for your clients is turn them into someone with less negative items. Did no one ever call me, talk to me, email me, comment on one of my social media and it's like, man, Dustin, I can't wait to have less negative items. They're like, oh man, I need to buy a house. I need to buy a car. I need to get an apartment for my kids. Right? I would love to beef my credit up to create a safety net for myself and my family. Right? If you're not connecting what we can actually do to what they want, right, then all you're really doing is scalping tickets. Like you can't get them where they want to go. Right? That's why people leave. They're going to judge the work that you're doing by what? Credit score, and deletions. Well, if your client doesn't have, Sean will tell you this, if your client doesn't already have good credit, like if there isn't already plenty of positive lines reporting every month, right? And you go to delete negative items, there's nothing to balance out. You can have bad credit and not have any negative items on your credit, right? So because why? Credit is functional. That number does not matter. I know people with a 720 can't get approved for a big penny, right? I know people with a 660, they can get anything they want. It's all about how that number is a lie. It's an algorithm. It's a math problem that can be manipulated. And if you let your clients judge what you're doing based on that score, you're wrong. Wrong. You got to connect what you're doing with what they want. And I promise you, when you call them, okay, what are your goals? I want to get these collections resolved. I'd love to get this repo removed, bankruptcy removed, blah, 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 blah. That's what they're saying because that's what they think will actually get them to their real goal of that house. I don't want to worry every day about if my kid needs braces or something like that, I go and get declined for whatever it is. That's what they want. They want to not live with that angst in their stomach that they are one emergency away from poverty, from food stamps. That's what they want, right? If you are connecting what you do with what they actually want, then they're not going to stick around, right? On average, 75% of my clients hit 9 months. 75%. Okay? So I'm just going to give you some things that I have done personally, to increase that. Before I do this, I want to ask a question. I'm going to tell you that it is your job to master your first impression. Master your first impression. Your first several interactions with this client needs to be on point, right? So how do you differentiate yourself from every other jackass TikTok marketer? TransUnion is sweet to my ass. How do you do that? It's like, what's the process? When someone reaches out to your company, they initiate first contact. What is that? What do you do? How do you differentiate yourself? As of right now, who's step right now? And I want you to be honest. This isn't the time where your shoulder goes numb and you just sit there. Let's be honest. We're all friends here. How many of you, your very first contact with a client is going to be an automated text message or email? It's automated. You don't even know that person, him and your sister. Ooh, I know some of your businesses. You are liars. Okay, but that's what most people's first contact is an automated text message or an email. Okay, not me. I send a personal message. I use a software called Dub for this. Dub allows you to put their name in the URL. It allows you to put their name in the URL. Right? So if it's, if it was, or in the URL, it allows you to put their name there. Right? So if this was, dustinacreditgeek.dub.com/v/Matt Listro, and I sent this to Matt would know that I made that for him. Right? So I send this same video, every person. You can see it has I put their name in the title. What's up? Happy Wednesday. It's where it says Happy Wednesday Credit Con or whatever I did there. right? I put their name in the title. So every lead that comes in gets a video from me, the person they're seeing online, all right, who they want to talk to anyway. It's not some faceless person in Thailand, right? I master the first impression. This takes me, this right here, it takes me a minute. And I'll actually show you how I do this, like if you guys want to see it. Who uses Go High Level? Everybody uses High Level, right? I created a custom value in High Level that says Dub Welcome Video, right? There's an automation attached to it so that as soon as that value changes in High Level, as soon as the value changes and I hit save, it automatically sends out a text message that has this link in it. So that text message is automated, but the video is real, right? So it puts it in there and it lets them see it. It says, hey, it's Dustin from Rocket. I saw that you were looking for some information. I just want to touch base with you personally. I made you this quick video, right? Go check it out. Boom. Right? And so they've got it, right? But that part is automated. It takes me a minute. You saw the video. It's 47 seconds. It takes me a minute to take to make this video, whatever, no matter what I'm doing. I can do it right here. Boom. Do it. Send it out. Right? I changed the title to have their name in it. I put in the URL of the URL of the URL. Listen, I was born in 79. Okay, y'all. I'm good enough to be up here. It's got their name in it, right? So they see it. It's theirs. It can't be generic. There you go. Right? That's your welcome. That's worth $100,000 right there. Most sales advice sucks. It does. Like a lot of folks come here for sales. Let me tell you, the most sales advice sucks. You have got to, whenever you're talking to people, you've got to set proper expectations. Your job is not to remove negative items, period. You need to be unflinchingly honest about their situation. I'll tell folks, like, you don't need me, you need a bankruptcy lawyer. You need a bankruptcy lawyer. As a credit repair guy, right? Bankruptcy is not a four-letter word to me. Right? If you're coming to me like you got $90,000 charged off repos, hey, player, there's nothing I can do for you. Right? And I want to be honest with you. I want to tell you this because, and I'll tell them this, I want to tell you this because someone else might not tell you the truth. They might say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we can get you helped out. We'll get you hooked up. No problem. Sign up right here. Here's your link. Blah, 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 blah. You know you can't do nothing for that person. You know that, like, you're going to get them sued because they're going to think that if you delete that it's gone and they don't have to do anything. Right? What they really need is a bankruptcy attorney, right? You need to validate their doubts. They already think that the dispute process might not work. You're right. I'll tell them, you're right. Like, there's a reason you think that because, we've probably heard all that information. Well, the dispute process isn't magic. Right? It's not. Like, I tell them, there's only those three ways. It's highly unlikely in every negative item on your credit report qualifies for that. I can count on one hand. This is what I tell them. I can count on one hand the amount of times every negative item has got deleted from someone's credit report. Right? That's okay. That's okay. Because for us, the dispute process only gets you to a point where now I know what your credit report actually looks like. And now I know how to help you build. Right? You can't, without that part, you don't have functionally good credit. Right? So and what that does is that puts them off their, like, I'm already letting them know that, hey, those things you doubt, good. Doubt all. Because it's not magic. Right? I'm going to let you know that the dispute process has limitations. It's got limitations. It's not magic. I don't care what anyone else has told you. And I'll tell them this, like, hey, you need to understand that you and me are going to be friends for the next year. So that's what it's going to take. That's not the timeline I set up. I don't have a minimum in my contract. That's what the process takes. That's what it takes to get you where you want to go. And I'll tell them, hey, if that's not what you have in mind, like if you don't have that kind of time to budget, right? Then not only should you not sign up with me, you shouldn't sign up with anybody because this is what it's going to take. Right? This is what it's going to take. And I'm telling you this to be honest, because if you want to go to somebody else and talk to them, they might go ahead and sign you up knowing full well that they can't actually get you where you want to go. Right? You say those things, you validate what they're thinking about already, immediately you are a man of integrity, or a woman of integrity. Right? Immediately. Okay. 4 keys. I got to go through some of this stuff. 4 keys to ease retention. World-class onboarding, effective communication, client success management. I'm actually going to explain all these so you don't have to, we won't do them now. Intentional tracking. right? You have to own all these things for your retention. What does world-class onboarding look like? Here's what I found, is that a lot of folks will do part of their onboarding over here, part of their onboarding over here. A day later, they'll get part of the onboarding over here. Credit repair is an emotional decision. It really is. Yeah. Right, it really is. Like, and if they're signing up with you, it's because they saw something that you did resonated with them right now. They're in the middle of that pain point. You and I both know that I could have a cavity in my mouth. If it's hurting today, I want to do something about it. Tomorrow, if it's not hurting, I cancel that appointment. Right? If you don't have one-step onboarding, everything that you're doing, I do all this through Go High Level. If you don't have one-step onboarding, the likelihood that a client actually finishes your onboarding, and all that marketing has to come to something. You got to finish the onboarding. If you make them take multiple steps, the more steps there are, and the more time between those steps, then the less likely they are to actually do that. How many of you guys have had people sign up, fill out your onboarding form, then they don't sign a contract or whatever? That's because you don't have this set off, right? So you need to do all that the one time. I have immediate validation. Anybody use the VAs? I have one. She's been with me the whole time. Not the whole time, but I've had her for a long time. Her name's Rebecca. The only thing that she does is she does the onboarding. As soon as someone fills out the onboarding form, all that onboarding information, we have a spreadsheet that has everything that we need to be able to complete the onboarding. She immediately goes in. No matter what she's doing, she stops now and goes to check on all that stuff. Is the ID good? Right? Is it clear? Is it valid? Right? Or is it their, racetrack security badge? What is it? Right? Do we have a proper proof of address? Right? Have they signed the contract? Have they signed the power of attorney? Like, do we have all these things? Do we have their smart credit information? Right? Are we able to log in and pull? Like, we need to check all these things, because if not, you can't onboard that person. And the longer it takes for you to do this right here, then the less likely they are to give you whatever information it is you need. So you need to have someone immediately validate that information. Immediately. Why? Because it makes the onboarding process feel like one piece. If you have them fill out an onboarding form over here, but then all that information goes into your CRM, and that's where they have to sign their agreement, but you don't get to that for 2 or 3 days, because I got to turn this portal on for them to get in there and do this. I mean, you're going to lose 40% of your people right there. They're not doing that. All right? What do you mean I got to do this thing now? Like, now I don't even put the service anymore because my cavity didn't hurt anymore. Right? You're losing out on that. Okay? The personalized welcome, you can make that same dub video. What's up, y'all? Hey, I saw that you signed up. I'm happy to work with you. We're going to go over everything. I want to have you schedule your call. You can say whatever it is. You can do that same thing if you want to. The physical gift. I love this. A tailored kickoff call. I want you to engineer quick wins. Let's talk about all this. We just talked about that. Every billing information, personalized, have it all. My form takes it all. Takes everything. Okay. And I'll show you my onboarding flow. Immediately when this happens, I've got an automation. This kicks it over to my CRM. It kicks it over to PandaDoc. I like PandaDoc for my agreements because it will allow you to have the multiple initial and signed response. Right? It also will create not only an email automatically, it will create a link. I have an automation that connects that link back into my Go High Level. And so as soon as that link is generated, it sends them out another text message immediately. It says, hey, in case you don't see it in your email, here's your link for your client service agreement. It's important. It has this, and this. I want you to take time and read it. Let me know if you have any questions because I want you to understand. But it sends them the link. So they don't even have to dig through their email right there on their text message. All this happens immediately. Okay? Client onboarding, 6 minutes. This is what I was telling you about. Like we've got a sheet that everything we go through. Do we have everything that we need? Right? All that information, part of that automation, sends it to the Google Sheet. Here it is. Right? That's what it looks like. Whatever you need for your onboarding needs to be checked immediately. Here it is. Get personal with Doug. That's me about 35 pounds ago. The newlywed 19, y'all. Boom. This is kind of how it goes. Go High Level is where I do everything into your disputing software, into my onboard tracking sheets. Then to the contract generation software, I told you I use PandaDoc, is into my commission tracking sheet. The onboarding team gets the notification. Rebecca goes and checks everything out. There's a automated notification to me. Okay, there's a text message that comes to me to remind me to make them a new little welcome video. Hey, what's up? I saw you. Look forward to working with you. They get assigned to their account manager, and this is optional. You can do this. A thank you card. You can create an automation where a thank you card automatically gets mailed out. Physical gifts. I don't do a thank you card. I actually send them a cookie on Crumble. $5 anywhere in the world. $5. When is the last time you saw, like, I got a Christmas card because I bought a $90,000 BMW, right? But they didn't, I mean, this is a game changer. Crumble, Tips, Treats, whatever. Send them one cookie. Cost you $6. $6. Okay? $6 and they'll hang out for a year. Okay? Taylor kickoff call. This is a non-negotiable. You got to do this. If you aren't doing this, you're cheating your clients. Ooh. Oh yeah. This is where you set the tone for your entire program. At this point, someone has to have done a deep dive on their credit, right? You need to get information that's important to your disputing, right? Ask Ken what kind of information you need if they got a repossession on their credit report, because you need information from them. If they get a bankruptcy, you need information from them. You need files. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing that, if you're just running that bad boy into whatever software you got and it's spitting out whatever, you are wrong. You are not doing credit repair. You're doing ticket scalping. That's what you're doing. You don't know. I mean, and honestly, that's how a lot of us get started, right? No disrespect to anybody. That's how a lot of us get started. That is 101 level. You're not doing credit repair yet. You're not doing credit repair until you know what to look for on a retail sales contract for a car. Ain't that right, Ken? Right? You don't know what you're doing yet. That's okay. We'll teach you. We'll teach you. I promise you that. Credit Con will teach you. Okay. So there's information that you need. If you aren't going through that credit report with them, and this is the consultation, this is the kickoff call. It's a non-negotiable. They have to be this to be a part of your program. You're part of my program. You need to, we talk about budgeting and utilization. Okay. We set goals every month for our clients, because utilization, if their utilization is straight kicked up, like it doesn't matter what you're doing, they're not going to see it. And so my job again is not to get you negatively deleted. It is to get you to the point where you've got functionally good credit. If you, Sean will tell you, if it doesn't matter how good your credit is, if your cards are maxed out, I mean, don't even think about applying for a new credit card. It's a no, player. Right? And so we work on their budgeting, work on their utilization. We set goals for them every month. And the monthly calls, we hold them accountable for those goals. Why? Because if I get the idea that your idea of credit repair is, hey, Dustin, here's my credit weight gave us at 750, you're right out the door. Right? So I set those expectations. Okay? We take notes and we send a summary PDF to the client. Okay? Engineer quick wins. Wildly important. Wildly important. You need to do this every month. I don't care if that client got 40 late payments, it's in their repo, in their collections. You need to find something about what happened over the last 30 days that you can congratulate them for. You have to do this. Okay? Change the utilization. Anything at all. And that's celebrating wins. You also need to engineer those quick wins, figure out what they can do immediately to start validating your value and your program. They need to see something. Okay? Let's run through this. Effective communication. The week one roadmap. Hey, this is what's going on. Personalized reporting. If you're just sending out your CRM's progress report, you are wrong. They don't know how to read that. And no offense to anybody, especially Daniel, no offense to anybody who has a software. Most CRM progress reports, I mean, the clients have no idea how to read that. How many of you have gotten a phone call and said, hey, I got the progress report. What does that mean? What happened? So I don't do that. I send them a link. Every month I send them a link, say, hey, we need to talk about what's going on. I did this in ChatGPT. I spent months designing a report that actually looks at both credit reports and creates hey, this is what happened, this is what happened. These are the things that you did that helped your credit. These are the things that you did that are hurting your credit, that have changed. They need to know what habits they've got that they need to change, because if not, I'm not looking for repeat business. Okay. So the goal is by the end of the program, you know credit like you know your kids' names. So I can't do that if I'm sending you an anonymous PDF every month, hoping that you're not, if your clients will create their own narrative based on what they see and what they understand about that progress report. The only thing they understand is that score. Okay, that's the only thing they understand is the score. Okay, you know as well as I do, 90% of that score is what they're doing versus what you're doing. Okay, so if you're allowing them to judge what you do and how good you're doing it based on what is 90% their responsibility, then you are wrong. They will create their own narrative. Okay, and this is just a quick plug for Level Up Score out there. I did this. It took me months to get this figured out. Level Up Score does that for you. Don't clap because I'm stupid. I spent months working on that. Allie been trying to get me on the phone for 2 years. I'm like, yeah, my bad, y'all, my bad. If you want a more personalized roadmap, which also helps you out, because if you're new to the industry, you might not know exactly what you're looking at on a credit report. You might not know what steps they need to take. If all you know is this feeding, talk to Allie and Steve. They got a great product for you. I was dumb. I was hard-headed. I had to do it myself. ChatGPT took me months. Dogs peeing everywhere. You want to control the narrative. You want to control the narrative. You want to make sure that you're really letting them know the benefit of your service. This is what we're doing. This is what's going on. You're not seeing changes in your score, and this is why. Right? Because if not, they're going to create their own narrative. You want to celebrate all wins. The account manager. Your account manager. I know this because of Crystal. Your account manager is the single most important person in your business. Sean, are you talking to every one of your clients? Not most of the time. Me neither. I won't lie. Your account manager is the single most important person in your business. We all think the teachers need to make more money, right? So do your account managers. Right? Because they're the ones that they are the client-facing person. Right? You need to hire an A person. They need to know where every client is at every stage of the process. You need to be able to go to that person. Like, say, Shonda, what's going on with Tony Robbins here? What's going on? They need to be able to say this, and this. Because they know. Right? They are the client-facing person. This person is going to be what connects your service, what you're doing, to what the client's actually looking for. Okay? The single most important person in your business. You think you're the face because you're the marketer? Shit. This person will make or break your company. Okay? Hire well, take care of them, pay them fairly. They effectively are, they're going to be one that creates the goals and uses that accountability. So you got to have someone that's kind of like your grandma. They've got that, they're empathetic, right? And you need to know when you ought to step in. Because there's going to be a point where they're like, you know what? I just want to talk to the white guy on TikTok. Let me talk to him. Okay. All right. They're probably going to, because I talk to all my clients, but it's scheduled, right? If we got to step in before that, I promise you, you really probably would have wanted to talk to the account manager. Because it usually means you're doing something wrong. No, not often. But I have to talk to my account managers all the time, because you have to constantly be training them. That's an employee. Right? It's an employee, but this is your brand, your messaging. You need to make sure that what they're doing is a reflection of who you are. Intentional tracking. This means you need to have your finger on the pulse of every client. Okay? You need to figure out some system, whether it's red light, yellow light, green light, whatever, so you can look at it on the spreadsheet and figure out which clients are super heavy, everything's all good, right? We've worked on their budget utilization. Kind of a side note. You can take this for what it is. If you're helping your clients with their utilization and their budgeting, you get fewer failed payments.
You are correct.
You get fewer failed payments. Why? Because they got extra money on those cards. Fewer failed payments, right? And what I mean, you can't just be educating them about the utilization. You need to be using those monthly calls to hold them accountable for that. Right? Because we are partners in this. And if you do that, then you have fewer failed payments. Their failed payment list at the end of the month is their most hated thing about this business. You put in the work, you did everything you needed to do, right? You work on these things, you will have less of this, okay? become a Pro CRO. This is what you need. Yeah. Make sure you are figuring out your onboarding, that personal touch, world-class service. You need to be goal-oriented results, and you need to have that company-client synergy. This is how you make money in this business. Right? If you are not selling a product, unless you are, but you're not. You are selling a subscription-based service. You're not selling the shake weight, right? Where, you are selling something that clients need to stick around for a long time, because not just it will make you more money, it will actually get them where they want to go. You can't get them where they want to go in 3 months. You can't. So you need them so you can connect what you actually do to what they want and get them to that point. You need them to stick around for long, which means you need to up your customer service.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? I want to give a huge thank you to Dustin Ball for letting us share his incredible content with you. And Dustin was just one of the many outstanding speakers, and this conference, it really showed just how much that we can learn from each other. CreditCon was packed with inspiration, connections, and real strategies to help you to grow your business. So if you've never been, I highly recommend it, and I hope to see you there next year. And I'll end by saying, if you want to see another amazing speaker in action, check out this replay of Andre Coakley at our Credit Repair Expo. And if you'd like to start your very own credit repair business, or to learn how to earn extra income repairing credit for others, check out my brand new Start Repairing Credit Challenge. So sign up right now at startrepairingcredit.com and keep changing lives.